Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag. It's on. Ron Washington almost shepherded over the coolest comeback in Ranger history yesterday. It was real close. The Rangers had trailed 11-0, came back to within 11-10. You could feel the tremors. You could feel it building. But then that 55 pitch, 7-run top of the ninth, kind of stemmed that tide and made it an 18-10 final yesterday. As we head into September, and here we look at the Toronto Blue Jays batting order. Fairly similar to what they ran out there yesterday in scoring 18 runs. The most runs they had scored in literally 1,000 games played. Exactly, 1,000 games played. Scudero and Hill, Adam Lind had the big game yesterday with 8 runs batted in. Overbay and Wells, Barajas and Bautista, Travis Snyder, and John McDonald, who made a big play in that game yesterday. Tom, we will begin by scouting out Dustin Nippert.
Well, he's having a good season. He's 4-2. His ERA is just a little bit above 4. 5 games, 2 starts at this ballpark. Really well. 3-0, 176 ERA. Pitched better with men on base than he has without men on base. Coming off a start against the Yankees where he pitched into the 4th inning. Only gave up a couple of runs, but walked 7 batters in that game. Just did not have command of his fastball. And that's something we hadn't seen from Dustin, and hopefully that's just a little bit of an aberration. We'll see him back to normal today.
Scudero started things off with a single yesterday. It led to a 5-run first inning. Did you notice the Marco Scudero hecklers are back?
I heard someone yelling, but I was talking. I didn't hear what they were saying. I do remember from last time, though.
Various negative things about Marco Scudero is what they're. He blasts away into center field. Josh Hamilton drifting back. Marco Scudero is out. And the rest of the way defensively for the Rangers here in Game 1. Bird and Cruz flank Josh Hamilton, who's been playing mostly right of late. Young, Andrews, Kinsler, and Davis in the infield. Taylor Teagarden had a great game yesterday, Tag. He's right back out there today.
Yeah, had 3 hits, made a couple of excellent throws to gun down runners trying to steal.
We showed you Pudge on that graphic, but trust me, it is Taylor Teagarden back there. Pictures speak louder than words. That is definitely Taylor Teagarden. This is a nice beginning for Dustin Nippert.
Dustin's thrown 3 straight curveballs for strikes. That's the pitch that Scudero flied out to center field on. That's the one he just got strike 2 with to Aaron Hill.
Punch towards right coming on. Nelly Cruz won't get it. And the man who leads the American League in total bases picks up 1 more and sets it up for the guy that had the 8 RBI game yesterday, Adam Lind. Just the 5th opponent ever with an 8 RBI game against the Rangers. Last time it happened, Bill Miller, then of the Red Sox, did it in this ballpark, did it on a pair of grand slams. The all-time Toronto record for runs batted in a game is 9. Done in their first year, 1977, Roy Howell at Yankee Stadium.
With the 8 RBIs that Lind had last night, he's moved into tied for 7th in the league in RBIs. Aaron Hill ahead of him is 9th. They've got their 2nd and 3rd place hitters both in the top 10 in RBIs.
In Toronto, I'm sure that everybody knows Aaron Hill and Adam Lind. But nationally, it's Boy, a couple of under-the-radar guys that are having huge seasons. Dustin Nippert fires it in there. And Adam Lind with that big game yesterday, not able to quite get it going here in the first inning.
He set that fastball up, 92-mile-an-hour high fastball with a good changeup. Lind was out in front of his changeup on the pitch before that, but it kind of set up the high fastball that he was able to throw right by him. And so far, good command of the pitches for Dustin, both curveball, changeup for off-speed pitches, and his fastball.
Overbay did not play in the game yesterday. He'll take, and again, getting ahead in the count early, a great sign for Nippert. Well, the Blue Jays, who had scored 8 runs total in 27 innings this past weekend at Fenway, had 18 runs in their 9 innings here last night. It's kind of a lost cause of a season for the Blue Jays right now. They're 59-70. Cito Gaston's return. He got called back to the job midway through last year. And of course, he was at the helm when the Blue Jays were winning those back-to-back World Series in the early 90s. Off speed. And Overbay finds himself behind 1-2.
Now, even in the game against the Yankees, when Dustin walked 7 batters, it was his fastball he couldn't throw for strikes. The reason he was able to get as far as he did and only give up a couple of runs was because of his changeup. And that was a really good changeup that he just threw to Overbay. The changeup is becoming an excellent pitch for him, a pitch that he can really command. It looks just like his fastball, about 10 miles an hour slower. He also throws a curveball, which we've already seen today, and a slider.
Nippert had that 10 strikeout game in Cleveland, and since then, 3 starts after that, it's been 3 in each one of those. So more strikeouts in the 6 innings in Cleveland than in the 3 subsequent starts right after. Toronto made a fair amount of contact yesterday. One of the crazy things about the game yesterday, Tag, there were only 9 runners left on base in that game. As many base runners as there were, 28 runs scored. 9 men left.
Well, the Blue Jays hit 4 home runs. They cleaned the bases 4 times.
High drive center field. There's Josh Hamilton near the track, and he's got it. It was a 5-run first inning yesterday. Nothing close to that this afternoon. Game 1 of the doubleheader. Kinsler coming in to lead off when we come back. There's no score and trying to shake off the effects of that 18-10 game from last night. Crazily, the second 18-10 game has been played in the last 4 weeks in the big leagues. Boston and Baltimore just had one of those. Kinsler, Young, and Hamilton we mentioned, and it's Bird, Cruz, and Pudge. Taylor Teagarden, Chris Davis, and Elvis Andrus. And we'll start very carefully here with the Toronto pitcher. Not an easy guy to pronounce, nor is he an easy guy to hit. Sounds like an Aretha Franklin lyric here. R-Z-E-P-C-Z. Zinski. This is Mark Zepchinski. And we scout him out right here.
He's been throwing the ball really well in his last 3 starts. His ERA is 196. Opponent's batting average only 188. 5th round pick back in 2007 out of the University of California. And he's earned the right to be here. He pitched really well in the minor leagues. This season, 88 innings, 104 strikeouts. And in his minor league career, he struck out 277 in 253 innings. So he has been a strikeout pitcher in the minor leagues. He's had an ERA below 3 every step of the way in the minor leagues. And so we'll see what he looks like in the big leagues.
Not just the high strikeout totals, but only 1 home run allowed in those 80-some innings in the minors this year. And as we talk about that, Kinsler drills it way up there. That ball is gone. So welcome to the big leagues, Mark Zepchinski.
When Ian's swinging the bat the way he is right now, you have to be real careful about throwing him a good strike to hit. I mentioned him in the pregame show. He's been swinging the bat. That's what he's done in the last 5 games, and that continues right into this game right off the bat. Take a look at the pitch that he hit. Got a fastball belt high. Got inside that rectangle and outside the fence.
Not so much for 1 home run allowed in 88 minor league innings. It's the 7th he's allowed in the big leagues. He gave up 3 at Yankee Stadium. I guess there's no shame in doing that. It's obviously a ballpark where the baseball's been flying all year. And Kinsler made that one fly. Number 29 takes over the team lead.
Interesting note on Zepchinski in the Blue Jays notes. In his first big league start, he struck out 7 and only gave up a couple of hits. First pitcher to do that since David Clyde. 7 strikeouts and 2 hits or fewer in their big league debut.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say there wasn't quite the passion surrounding the debut of Mark Zepchinski.
Probably not.
It's when David Clyde rolled out.
His last start against Tampa Bay took a no-hitter into the 6th inning. 2 outs in the 6th inning.
Oh, and the 213 opponent's batting average, you're right, Tom. I mean, it shows you that he's done some pretty good things here in a short amount of time.
He's walked 28 batters in 55 innings. That's slightly high. But he's taken the strikeout totals from the minor leagues to the big leagues. He's almost struck out a batter per inning in the big leagues. And there's his first one today.
Yep, just got a guy with an 18-game hitting streak. Out of Yorba Linda, California, Zepchinski. The R is silent.
You know, if the R is silent, why did they even put it there in the first place?
Just to mess with you.
I mean, like they could have put like a Q, Z, R, like 4 or 5 letters and just say they're all silent. Really have a tough name.
Well, they got a couple Z's in there for you. I say throw an actual number in there just to.
Yeah, why not? Make that silent.
Maybe like a semicolon. Some emoticons. I'm going to wait till he turns back around. We'll see how your memory skills are. All right, go. Spell Zepchinski.
I can't do it without looking at my score sheet.
Well, that ERA of just 196 his last 3 starts. He is, as we say, proving he belongs.
He's not a hard thrower, but he keeps the ball down, it appears, and makes the ball sink. pitch he struck Michael on was 87 miles an hour at the knees, tailing down and away.
For Kinsler, by the way, his 12th career leadoff homer. He's got half of those 12 just this year. And a nice initial statement to make, as the Rangers obviously have to make some sort of statement today, trying to erase the memory of yesterday. It was about 1.5 feet away from being the biggest comeback in team history. When Chris Davis hit that ball to center, boy, it looked great off the bat. Vernon Wells ran it down, and it went as a sac fly instead of a home run. I think there were a few turning points in that game. That was one of them. Whoa, look out. The bat goes way into the crowd as Josh Hamilton is down on strikes. The guy wearing a Hamilton jersey came over and was right near the bat.
You know, some people might say, well, you know, if that ball had gone out of the ballpark and it gave the Rangers a little bit of a lead, it wouldn't have mattered anyway because the Blue Jays scored all those runs in the ninth inning. But the point is, if the Rangers had taken the lead late in the game, there would have been different pitchers pitching late in the game, even Frankie Francisco, and the chances of the Blue Jays duplicating that ninth inning against him would be pretty remote.
Another one of the guys who just missed a home run right here, Marlon Byrd. And the guy chasing it right there, I thought, made, and it sounds silly to say it in an 18-10 game, but that play John McDonald made on Kinsler to open things up in the bottom of the eighth. If he doesn't find that ball as quick as he finds it, if he doesn't make that blind throw to get Kinsler, I think maybe the Rangers, and you're right, I mean, if the Rangers do score in that inning, especially a couple runs in that inning, yeah, you're seeing Frankie Francisco in the ninth. As it turned out, we saw Jason Grilli and Pedro Strop, and it was a 55 pitch, top of the ninth. I guess they're into Marlon Byrd there, Tag.
You're going to have a long night wearing those things, boy.
Down and into Marlon. He's an easy guy to get behind, let's face it. I mean, the name Bird, obviously, it works. But the fact that Marlon is the kind of player that just endears himself to a baseball fan. You get an honest day's work out of Marlon Byrd every game. Two and two to Marlon. He did end up with one hit in the game yesterday. Every Ranger had at least one hit in the game yesterday. Taylor Teagarden had 3. I just found this stat, by the way. You think there's been more 18-10 games in the NFL or Major League Baseball history?
Well, you know, the way you asked the question, I would have probably thought football, but now the way you asked the question, I'm guessing it's baseball, because you don't get 18 points in a football
game. That's right.
Ninth
18-10 game in baseball history yesterday. Only 3 in the NFL. 1-0 is our score today. Thank you, Ian Kinsler.
head to the top of the second. Josh and Tom community corner tonight because we have a big event coming up. The Aflac hosts Cook's Children's Hospital Night Out, and Buffy Swinehart is here to tell us about that.
Well, I am just thrilled to be here, first of all, and happy to provide this opportunity for these courageous kids here at Cook's Children's.
What's going to take place?
We are here to celebrate a night away from the hospital, to enjoy some Major League Baseball, watch the Texas Rangers, hopefully cheer them on to a victory, and just give a night for pediatric cancer patients and their families to breathe easy and enjoy some good old-fashioned baseball.
Well, enjoy Elvis with a nice play right there. You see the information on the screen for those who want to get involved and help out a wonderful organization. Buffy, good to see you. Nice to meet you. Enjoy the game. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Buffy. Thank you, Jim. And Vernon Wells has been retired. Rod Barajas comes up next. Again, Toronto led 11-0 yesterday. The Rangers rallied to within 11 of 10, and then just kind of lost it there in the ninth inning. It puts the Rangers 6 back in the West now, 4 back in the wild card. And those are the largest numbers we've been talking about. 6 back in the West, 4 back in the wild card. So another test of that duly noted Ranger resiliency.
Well, early in the game, a huge improvement from last game with Dustin as far as his command goes. Can be tough pitching in Yankee Stadium against that lineup, big crowd. Dustin's had a good opportunity to work on things during his bullpen session, and coming back out today, looks like everything's going a lot better as far as command of his fastball, that's for sure.
Ron Washington provides our Geico quote talking about the expectations for Dustin Nippert today. And we have seen a very capable Dustin Nippert out there. It really did seem like it was just one of those days at Yankee Stadium. Not the beginning of a trend or anything like that. Just, you know, we all have them. One of those days. Nippert dealing to Rod Barajas, who had himself quite a day yesterday. Derek Holland absorbing that 10-run beatdown over 3 innings yesterday. Second foul off of Taylor Teagarden in this at bat. Barajas with a 2-homer, 5 RBI game. That was only the second best game a Blue Jay had yesterday, as Lind went for 2 homers and 8 runs batted in. We're told that's the 5th time only in Major League history that there have been a pair of teammates with a 2-homer, 5 or more RBI game. And you had to know there would be a bunch of stats kind of rung up like that yesterday. Things we hadn't seen in X number of years. First 18-10 game in Ranger history. But as we mentioned, strangely, the second 18-10 game in the big leagues just in 4 weeks' time. Boston and Baltimore had one. Boston also had a 20-11 game fairly recently against the Yankees. Checking his swing, no. He went around, and Teagarden's got a chance to throw him out. He does.
I think that's one of the keys with Barajas. He's a good hitter if you throw him good pitches to hit. But Rod will expand the zone a little bit. There's an example of it right there. If you get ahead in the count, probably a good idea to try to throw your breaking balls down. That changeup bounced almost. Rod couldn't lay off it, or maybe a fastball up around the eyes. But anything other than a good pitch to hit.
Now Jose Bautista, and a strike to him. Fly ball right field. Boy, much better for Dustin Nippert than at Yankee Stadium. Rangers 1, Blue Jays nothing. First of 2. Rangers leading on an Ian Kinsler home run. First game of a doubleheader today. And folks, when you're away from home and can't watch your Rangers, you can catch the game on your computer with MLB.tv. For details, go to TexasRangers.com, where baseball is always on. The bunt. Nelly Cruz was committed to it, and he is safe at first.
They put the pressure on the fielder. Make a good bunt like that. Takes a really good play to get you at first base, and Zepchinski was not able to pick it up barehanded and throw it. Not a bad idea by Nelly right there. Zepchinski struck out the last 3 hitters, Young, Hamilton, and Bird, after Kinsler's home run.
Well, that's a weapon that you'd love to see Nelly Cruz add a little bit, if indeed he can run up to close to 100%. That's kind of a forgotten element about Nelson Cruz's game, is his speed. Got a couple dozen steals this year. Well, not quite that yet, but capable of that. Outside to Pudge, who so far as a Ranger is hitting .320. Was hitting around .250 as an Astro.
Well, that sounds like a guest appearance from Zonk right down there. I think it was. Banging the drum.
That drum had that sound to it, didn't it?
Banging that drum with authority. That had to be Zonk.
Cruz picked off. And the ball dropped. What a break for the Rangers. Nelly belatedly gets up. He's heading to third. And now that one gets away. And if it wasn't for the screen up there by the dugout, Nelly would have run all the way home.
That almost turned into a Little League home run.
Now we all go get snow
Bunt,
cones.
steal, throw it away twice. Boy, you talk about a hot potato.
Let's see how they're going to score it.
It's a stolen base, and then it's going to be an error on this throw that allowed him to get to third base. And it's not for sure that they would have thrown him out even with a good throw at third base, but that's the way they scored it.
Bonus got a runner at third base now, and nobody out.
You really got to wait on this guy. He's very deceptive. Kind of throws his body and his arm lags behind. His fastball is 86, 87, but it really sinks and tails away from right-hand hitters. And he looks like he's got a pretty good changeup to go along with it. But when you see a young pitcher come up with the strikeout numbers that he's got, you tend to think 94, 95 mile an hour fastball, but that's not the case with this kid. He's definitely got strikeout pitches, but not because of velocity.
All 4 outs have been on a strikeout.
Because of deception and a good assortment of pitches that he keeps down. That looked like a slider right at the bottom of the strike zone. The first time the Rangers have seen this guy, obviously. And for a hitter, when a guy has this kind of stuff, an assortment of pitches with a deception in his delivery, it probably takes a couple of times up to get used to it. Need to make some contact right here. Don't want to waste Nelly at third with nobody out.
The Rangers have catchers hitting back-to-back in the order, and that's a little less unusual because now it's September 1st. The rosters have expanded. Kevin Richardson has been brought back among the many roster moves that the Rangers made. Again, Taylor had that super effort yesterday. 3 hits, caught a couple men stealing. There's Kevin Richardson. He's in reserve for the doubleheader.
It's got to be disappointing for Salty to have the setback in his rehab. At the same time, you have to be really happy for Kevin to get another opportunity to spend a month in the big leagues.
And the surprise entry is Gentry on this list.
To see him.
Native of Arkansas is going to maybe get a chance to pinch run or something like that before it's done today. Ron Washington loves having that extra dash of speed. That's the guy that was headed for a 50 stolen base season at Double-A. Was Craig Gentry. Brandon Boggs was recalled too, but put right on that 60-day DL. He's got that left shoulder dislocation.
That's a way to open up a roster space. When you're on the 60-day disabled list, you don't count on the 40-man roster.
One other move of note, though, I thought the Rangers had to designate somebody, and it was Thomas Diamond designated for assignment this morning. But bringing back Herman, Guardado, McCarthy, Madrigal, Moscoso, Richardson, and adding Craig Gentry. Well, Taylor had a phenomenal at bat yesterday. The one in the 7th inning after he already had a couple of hits. 6 two-strike fouls. Then took one in the dirt for a wild pitch. And then singled into left center. Boy, but here he becomes a 5th strikeout victim of Sipchinski.
This guy must be throwing a ball that fades into oblivion before it gets to the plate. It disappears. It's invisible.
He's allowed a homer and a bunt single. Other than that, 5 strikeouts. And you mentioned, Tag, last time out, Jays against the Rays. He took a no-hitter into the 6th inning.
But for a right-hand hitter, it really appears from this vantage point anyway, which is a lot easier than when you're down there swinging the bat, that the best way to go about hitting him is to try to drive the ball to right center field and wait on his pitches. And maybe that's what the Rangers will do next time around.
Davis hammers one up in the air, right center field, at the track, at the wall, caught this time. Boy, the Rangers have hit 2 hovercrafts in this game. One was Kinsler, and that one out. This time it was Davis, and it just missed. 1-0 at the end of 2. AT&T. Switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. And by Whataburger, just like you like it. Nelly Cruz initially was given a stolen base following a bunt. We're now told that's a two-base error instead. It caught stealing in an error. Not that Nelly scored anyway. It stays 1-0. Chris Davis just missed a 2-run home run.
They're going to rule that the first baseman made a good throw to second. Nelly would have been out, but the shortstop missed the ball, and that allowed Nelly to go to third base.
So the Kinsler home run so far is the only run of the game.
You hate to waste a man on third base with nobody out. That's a fairly certain scoring opportunity right there. Most, I don't know what the percentages would be, man on third base and no outs, but
whoa, pinball. Kinsler tracks it, and then it slips out. The baseball's bopping all over the place here. That might have been a break. Had that ball not careened right off the bag, it might have hit that right field corner, been a double.
It would have been at least a double. It might have been a triple if it bounced back toward center field. Unless it hit near where the security guard there is and bounced right straight out to Nelly Cruz. No way he could have held him to a single on that ball. So that was a break.
Snyder's aboard. John McDonald comes up next.
Chris Davis in the last 2 days has hit a couple of long range balls to center field. That one he just got underneath a little bit. Still drove it 405 feet to right center field.
Davis now holding on Snyder. And McDonald takes up. Again, he made a big play late in the game yesterday, robbing Kinsler. We learned that indeed John McDonald has an arm. Third base, equal opportunity lender here. Michael Young's got a good one too. 5-4-3 double play.
Hard hit ball, but right straight at Michael, who has the great hands, and that ball just went right in the center of his glove.
Well, to get 8 outs in New York, Justin Nippert needed 60 pitches. He's at 39 today, so obviously things are going a lot better. And yes, the Rangers have brought up reinforcements because it is September 1st and the rosters have expanded, but you still want to get 6 or 7 innings out of Dustin. And then Brandon McCarthy, we'll see what the Rangers can get out of him in game 2.
Yeah, they've got several extra pitchers, but still with 2 games and with the bullpen used like it was last night, you definitely want these guys to go deep into the game today.
Nice and easy for Justin Nippert. It's a 9-pitch inning. Double play helped out. It stays 1-0 Texas. Rangers ahead in game 1 of a doubleheader, and folks, don't forget the Rangers and Mariners when they play Saturday, September 12th. The first 20,000 fans receive a poster commemorating you, Vic Sosa? No, that's not right. First 20,000 fans receive a poster commemorating Hispanic players. 9-7-2 Rangers. Another bunt. Spinning, rolling, staying, fair!
You see Zepchinski bat the ball with his glove. Normally, well, not normally, but many times that ball will roll foul. It's got a little spin on it, hit the grass, came off the grass, and roll foul. But the baseline is, I won't say tilted toward the middle of the infield, but it's not certainly tilted, and so the ball will go into foul territory. It looks right here like it's going to go foul, and it just hugs the line and comes back, and Zepchinski's not too happy with that. I don't know if there's something in the scouting report that says bunt on this kid, but 2 bunts and 9 batters is unusual.
The old timers will remember Ashburn Ridge for Richie Ashburn's bunts at old Connie Mack Stadium in Philly. They would slope it so that Richie Ashburn could drop him down and beat him out. And I've got no insider knowledge that the Rangers have anything like an Elvis Andrus Ridge. Dodgers used to do that for Maury Wills. Put the high chalk lines out there so Maury could bunt.
Well, the Rangers don't bunt an excessive amount, and that same type of a situation with a baseline will aid the opposing team just as much if they happen to bunt a ball right down the line. In the course of a game, even if there's a number of bunts, very seldom do you see that kind of a ball. It doesn't happen very often. If the baseline is tilted in to favor a bunt staying fair, you still don't try to bunt it right down the line to make that happen.
Right.
That's almost impossible to do. I don't think Nellie Fox or Rod Carew could do that.
But it's like a safety net, right?
If you happen to bunt it that way and that happens, great. It might get you an extra hit like that.
A bunt from Kinsler, but it's foul.
Well, the Rangers are going to the bunt attack in this game.
And remember, they led off with a high, majestic Kinsler home run.
If the third baseman is playing Ian back, why not put 2 men on for Michael Young? The way Ian can run, if he gets it down the third baseline, great chance of being a base hit.
We've talked before this year about some of the better bunting exhibitions we've seen, and we would go back to the late 90s when Omar Vizquel was on those Cleveland Indians teams that would roll out Kenny Lofton, Roberto Alomar, and Omar. 3 of the best bunters in the league, back to back to back. And of course, the mid-'80s St. Louis Cardinals, with all the speed they had with Willie McGee and Ozzie Smith and Vince Coleman. Although it wasn't always about the bunt there. I mean, because of the AstroTurf in St. Louis, sometimes you just kind of chop the ball down, and all 3 of those guys could beat out the infield hit. The Rangers absolutely have been embracing their athleticism, their ability to run this year. A lot of double steals, straight steals. Seen a couple of squeeze plays this year. There goes Elvis. And because he's in motion, well, there was only going to be one play, and now there's nothing. The normally sure-handed Marco Scutaro had a tough time of it this afternoon.
Yeah, if Elvis is not running, who knows? Maybe he scoops that ball up and they turn a double play. So they got a bunt and an error for a little rally going here.
Now the question is, do you ponder bunting with Michael Young?
I'd say the chances of that happening are about 1 in 100 million.
No way, because he's Michael Young?
That's right. I don't think you bunt with your best hitter.
Indeed, looking to swing, and pounds it foul.
There may be a situation at some point in time where the situation would dictate it, but early in the game, you know, you anticipate runs being scored. I don't think you just play for a run or two. I think you try to play for the big inning right here with the big guys coming up.
Well, the thing is, Michael always has been an excellent bunter. It's just that because he's turned into the hitter he's become, you're right, you just don't ask him to do it anymore. Back in 2002, he had 13 sacrifice bunts and he had 5 bunt singles. But we have not seen Michael Young lay down a sacrifice in 6 years. There you go, Tag.
There, we found him. That is Zonk. Welcome back, Zonk. Miss you. Got his game face on, just as he usually does.
Well, Michael Young, you saw on that Ford leaderboard the hit streak that he's got going. .373 batting average during what is overall an 18-game hitting streak, and at home it's 23 straight games. This, by the way, this first game of the doubleheader, the first game going in the big leagues today. The Red Sox will play the Rays tonight in Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay's got a chance to make some noise there. They're 5 back in the wild card. You know how well they've been playing at home and how poorly the Sox have played on the road.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting matchup.
If the Rays sweep that series, they're 2 back. That would help the Rangers too, but then it would kind of create a 3-team jumble. Fouled by Michael. John Lester will be on the mound for Boston tonight. Got a 3.6 ERA. He's been great in the second half. The Angels, who clobbered the Mariners last night, will get Seattle again tonight. That's a late night West Coast game. Irvin Santana against Doug Fister. Grounded to short, and this time Scudero will turn it. 6-4-3, double play. Oh, a strikeout and a DP for Michael so far. Let's see if Josh Hamilton can save the inning.
Well, the way Zapchinski pitches, you would think he'd get a lot of ground balls. He keeps the ball down. The ball sinks a lot. Really good movement on his fastball.
Hambone 3 for his last 21. That ball knocked down by Rod Barajas. The batting average back into the 260s now. We saw it as low as 220, as high as 275. Josh is still working that playoff beard too. Down the line, that is foul, says Delphine Colon.
Well, good emphatic call by the first base umpire. Saw it all the way, made the call.
Because it's a doubleheader, the guy who's going to be working home plate in the nightcap, Ted Barrett, watching comfortably from the air-conditioned umpire's room right now. They bring in Delphine Colon to be a fifth umpire who rotates in. Slowly hit towards second base. And Hamilton is out. Well, the Rangers had a runner at third, nobody out last inning. 2 on, nobody out this inning. Couldn't score. It stays 1-0. back in the first has them on top in game one of a doubleheader. Kinsler has led the Rangers in steals each of the last 3 years. Named the only player with more consecutive seasons leading the Rangers in that department. That's our Aflac trivia question. Answer coming up in the bottom of the fourth. We're in the top of the fourth right now. Josh Lewin, Tom Grieve, Jim Knox with you. Thank you for making Ranger baseball a part of your late afternoon. If you're pondering what to do with your evening, don't be afraid to grab a friend or two. Come on out and join us. Plenty of baseball left to be played tonight. At least 15 innings. Dustin Nippert to Aaron Hill. We've not seen Dustin have those runaway counts of 2-0 or 3-0 like what was happening in New York. Nippert walked 7 batters in that game against the Yankees. He has walked none in this game today. A little bit outside, 3-1. The Bealsville, Ohio native, Dustin Nippert, gets a towering pop-up from Aaron Hill. Andrews with the catch.
I made a good pitch, threw a strike, 3-1. Missed with his changeup at 2-1. Came back with a fastball. Got Hill to pop it up. A good command with his fastball today. That sets up his off-speed pitches. Good changeup and a good curveball today too.
Nippert has pitched well in this ballpark. It's not a huge sample size, but his ERA now here at home is about 1.6. Adam Lind with a 12-game hitting streak. And the defining under-the-radar stat about Adam Lind has got to be, Tag, that other than Albert Pujols, this guy's got the most extra base hits in baseball. Before the Blue Jays came in here, and I hadn't researched that, 10 guesses, 15 guesses, I would not have picked Adam Lind. The 8 RBI game last night. You made the comment yesterday, Scudero, Hill, and Lind. That's as potent as a top third, maybe in baseball.
Well, we just got done seeing Minnesota, and their 3, 4, and 5 are as good as anybody's 3, 4, and 5. Mauer, Morneau, and Kubel. And you can say the same thing about 1, 2, and 3 for the Blue Jays. Look at power, on base percentage, however you want to measure it. Scudero, for a leadoff guy, gets on base about 39% of the time. He's hitting .290, 11 home runs, 55 knocked in for a leadoff guy is pretty good.
There's the first walk allowed by Nippert today. The Anderson, Indiana native, Adam Lind, is on.
And that's not a case of being wild. That's just a case of being careful to a guy that pounded the ball for 8 RBIs last night. Threw him a changeup just a little bit out of the strike zone. If he gets that up a few inches, 6 inches or so, he might have gotten Lind to swing at it.
Now the cleanup man, Lyle Overbay. Softly on the inside corner. The Blue Jays had a similar player for many years in John Olerud. Lefty first baseman, hit you more doubles and home runs, hit for average, play some good D for you. That ball is going to find right center. Lind takes a turn and goes to third, so the tying man in scoring position. And it's Arlington's very own Vernon Wells coming up. The Rangers have turned more double plays than any team in the majors. This will be a heck of a time to get one. Comfortable late afternoon here in Arlington. We started at 90 degrees. We're actually at 88 right now. Not much of a wind to speak of. Wave and a miss. Nipper to head 0-2.
And Dustin reached back for his best fastball of the day at 94 miles an hour. Had some decent movement on that. Looked like it was coming in on Wells.
That's a surprising stat on Vernon Wells, normally a run producer. Here he produces a foul ball.
I bounced it around a little bit like a hot potato. Ended up with it.
The crowd is starting to fill in a little bit now. Kids are getting out of school. Folks are getting out of work. Inside. Game 2, it's Brandon McCarthy for the Rangers, and Brian Tallett goes for Toronto. Last time we saw Tallett, he was tough to handle. 7 innings of shutout baseball, but he's been hit around a bit since then. And on the hands of Vernon Wells. Vernon was a two-sport star in high school. Heck of a football player, too. Led his team in rushing and passing, and somehow was second in receiving. He said he scrambled a lot. That accounted for the rushing yards. Sometimes they'd put the safety in at quarterback to hit Vernon on the deep pass pattern. That's how he got all the receiving yards. There's the ground ball. Oh, skids by Michael Young. Tough play. If he backhands it, you got a great shot at a 5-4-3, but it went by him, and it's now 1-1. Giving the two longtime friends something to talk about later, maybe. Boy, I think Michael thought the ball was going to come up, it just didn't. E5 with an RBI. And Michael, who had gone 32 games without an error, has now made him in back-to-back ball games.
And you can see how that kind of a ball can skip by a third baseman, and that's the ball you were talking about that Ian hit to McDonald last night. Not an easy play at all. You try to backhand that ball, taking that kind of a hop.
We talked yesterday about how it's kind of counterintuitively tough to get Barajas to hit into a double play. You'd think that because he's a big burly catcher, he'd be an easy guy to get. But that swing he takes always seems to produce lift. Much more likely to get him on a fly out or a strikeout than a ground out. Couple of balls lifted right out of the ballpark yesterday for Barajas. He's got 5 homers in his last 6 games. Only Joe Mauer has more runs batted in at the catching position in the AL. Breaking ball snuck it in there. popped foul into the crowd. The first game of our doubleheader. One game tomorrow, 7:05 first pitch tomorrow. It's $1 hot dog night. An autograph Wednesday as well. Tommy Hunter will be on the mound tomorrow. 7:05 first pitch. Hard hit and off of Michael Young. He will not have a play, but boy, just to knock it down was helpful. That ball had eyes for getting in the left field corner. That'll bring Mike Maddox to the mound to talk to Nippert. The base is loaded now for Jose Bautista.
That's a nice play by Mike. You get lucky and that ball hits in the middle of your glove, you got a pretty decent chance of turning a double play with Barajas running. As it is, it could have easily gone down the line and scored one, been second and third, maybe even scored two, depending on the way it bounced once it got down there.
That ball might have gotten Michael in the wrist or the forearm too. So Bautista with the bases loaded. Off speed to start him up. Strike one. Bautista had a pair of grand slams back in 2006 when he was a Pirate. One-time 20th round pick of the Buccos. He is down on the count 0-2. Check swing. Got Travis Snyder on deck. And John McDonald. We're down to the bottom third of this Toronto order. But remember, everybody was hitting for Toronto yesterday. They scored 18 runs. Most they've had in the game since 2003. On the ground, Michael Young, another shot at it. 5, 4, 3, double play! Third time's a charm for Michael Young. So Dustin Nippert is out of the inning on a nicely turned double play ball. We were talking to Ian Kinsler a little earlier, our Aflac trivia question about stolen bases. Kinsler's led last 3 seasons. Last guy with a longer run, Bump Wills, 1977 through 1981. We've talked Maury Wills and Bump Wills in the broadcast already. And Kinsler, more power than speed in this one. His home run has given the Rangers their 1 run. Been a frustrating game for the Rangers since then. Tag, they had a runner at third, nobody out in the second, didn't score. 2 on, nobody out in the third, and didn't score.
And you have to keep looking at the phonetical pronunciation of this guy, Zepchinski, a lot of credit for being able to pitch out of those jams, especially man on third base and no outs.
Again, the R is silent like the T in aquarium.
This ball moves all over the place. It sinks that one down and away. Speeds vary up to about 87, down to about 77, right around in there.
Well, there's another one. The Marlin Bird doesn't miss by much. He gets under it and hits it to the warning track. The one guy that did center it yesterday is coming up right now. Nelson Cruz hit a missile yesterday when the Rangers were having that 7-run 5th inning. You know, only Carlos Pena has hit homers more frequently. That is homers per at bat in the American League than Nelly. As the Rangers had cut that 11-0 lead down to 11-4 last night. Couple on for Nelson Cruz, and bang, it was 11-7. Sometimes when it leaves the bat, there's just no doubt.
And you see where that pitch was. Hard to keep that ball fair. Like the ball that Lind hit last night to right field. Pitch that was about 6 inches inside. Looked like that same amount inside to Nelly, and both of them were able to hit him long and keep him fair instead of pulling him foul.
Cruz, after a swing and a miss, is going to take down here to make it 2-2. The Rangers have 3 hits in this one against Zepchinski. Got the homer from Kinsler and a couple of bunts, one from Nelly Cruz. Tried to curl it on that outside corner, didn't quite get it. Fifth round pick out of University of California, Zepchinski. Tommy Hunter's draft class, 2007. Tried it again and missed it again. Cruz on with the walk. And Tom, you mentioned earlier that maybe once the Rangers had seen Zepchinski live and in person once, the second go around they'd have a little better idea. And for Pudge, you're hoping that's the case. He took a look at a couple that were fairly hittable in that second inning. Some other games later on. The Yankees play at the Orioles tonight. The Yankees now 83-48. Rangers head to Baltimore pretty soon themselves. Pudge wallops it to left field. A line drive off the top of the wall. Cruz to third, Pudge to second. And indeed, he's learned a little something about how to hit Zepchinski.
You know, in the last 4 or 5 days, you hate to sound like you're making excuses, but boy, the Rangers have had some bad luck as far as where balls have hit. David Murphy's ball in Minnesota missed by a foot. This ball Pudge hits just misses being a home run by maybe a couple of feet. They've just gotten underneath some balls and have gone to the base of the wall. Ball that Chris hit last night. Vernon Wells made a terrific play on. This ball hits way up on the wall. They need some contact right here.
Infield hangs back here, and a chance for Taylor Teagarden to break a 1-1 tie. The Carrollton Creekview product. Grew up wanting to be Pudge Rodriguez. Now he hits behind Pudge Rodriguez. One and one inside corner. Right back to that inside edge.
As Zabczynski be the kind of guy in college, it'd be tough to scout because you're going to look at him with a radar gun and see his fastball is 86 or 87, and that radar gun speed certainly wouldn't be impressive, well below average as far as velocity goes. But then when you watch him pitch and you see the movement he has, the way he mixes up his speeds, the deception in his delivery, and what he's able to accomplish, you see a kid go in the 5th round, and very seldom I think will you see a guy with an 86 or 7 mile an hour fastball go in the 5th round.
Well, he's making pitches when he needs to, Tag. The Rangers 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position.
Well, he struck out 6 guys, and they just haven't been able to make contact when you need to get some contact.
Davis made some contact in the 2nd inning, and he just missed hitting one out. The Rangers only 2-5 against this Toronto team. That's the team with a losing record. Now the Rangers are 7-2 against Boston, 9-3 against the Angels. Not exactly stupefying when you go 2-5 against anybody in the big leagues, but we'd like to see the Rangers start beating the teams that are under 500. And they'll have that chance on this upcoming road trip, right? You got Baltimore and Cleveland. Then the Rangers come home to play Seattle. Then Oakland. Then the Angels. I think everybody, fans anyway, already looking at that September 19th weekend. The 3 at home against the Halos. But as I'm sure a lot of Ranger fans will point out, if you don't start beating Toronto and Baltimore, those games don't make as much of a difference. Davis with a ground ball into right field. Boy, if the first baseman Overbay can glove it, it stays 1-1. It gets by him, and it's 3-1.
That ball just barely got by him. That's finding a hole right there. That's the exact opposite of what I was talking about earlier. Balls that hit a foot from the wall, balls that are caught on the warning track that they just missed. There's what looked like a ground out to end the inning. And somehow it just got by out Overbay and ended up being a 2-run single. Well, after you've hit the ball like Chris did to the warning track twice in 2 nights, it's a little ground ball that does the damage.
Andrews fouls one, and that whole baseball's a funny game thing. You know, Chris Davis smashes one in the second inning, and it's just short of a home run, so he doesn't get his 2 runs batted in. Now here in the fourth, little ground ball, and he's got his 2 runs batted in. And finally, a base hit with a runner in scoring position. In fact, with 2 runners in scoring position, even better. Taken for a strike by Andrews. Red Sox and Rays play later tonight, as we mentioned. The Indians and the Tigers later tonight. The Tigers trying to stay on top in the Central. That ball getting away. Davis down to second base. A break or two starting to fall the Rangers' way here.
Rod played that, lifted his glove up just enough for the ball to sneak right underneath it.
Ground ball, Scudero. Planting, firing. Nice play. To get a guy who makes that play all the time, Elvis Andrews. 2 out, 2 RBI hit for Davis. Rangers 3, Toronto 1. The Ford F-150. And by Aflac Insurance, we've got you under our wing. A 3-1 Texas Ranger lead in Game 1 of a doubleheader. Brandon McCarthy will pitch Game 2. It is Dustin Nippert in Game 1, and he blows one right by Travis Snyder. Getting ahead is just something he was not doing against the Yankees. In fact, by this time of the game, he was long gone against the Yankees 5 days ago. But here's another Blue Jay hitter, 0-2. Six games back in the West, now 4 games back in the wild card. And we have flipped that calendar to September. And a season where actually the regular season doesn't end until October 4th. got him again with a heat.
Kept going with fastballs. Got one a little out of the strike zone and couldn't lay off it.
John McDonald comes up next. We go to Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Josh. Something very fond of the Texas Rangers is the Miracle League. Jay Hutchinson, along with some of the volunteers, coaches, and buddies on hand. And it's hard to believe you guys kick off your 5th season at the end of September.
Yes, Miracle League. We're in our 5th season. Our season starts last Saturday in September. And we have very special players. We have very special volunteers, coaches, and buddies that assist the kids. Texas Rangers have been a big part of what we do, and they're providing this week for us tonight. We also have the YMCA of Arlington that helps us administer to the league.
All right, so kind of a kickoff get-together tonight to watch the Rangers. Good luck on the season. Those who want to get involved and help be a buddy, volunteer, or coach, what do they need to do?
Well, they can go to mldfw.org, which is our website, or they can link through the YMCA of Arlington and Miracle League and check us out.
There you go. Nice seeing you, Jay. Appreciate it. Keep up the good work, Josh.
Thank you, Jim. Great organization. I know near and dear to the Grieve family.
Yeah, my wife has been involved in that as one of the buddies. And I think she's gotten a lot more out of that than she's given back into it. At least that's the way she feels. And if you can go out to Randall Mill Park once the season starts and go out and watch a couple of those games and really appreciate the fine efforts that the guys in the Miracle League do, guys and women in the Miracle League. Beautiful park they've built out there.
John McDonald hit into a double play back in the 3rd. The Rangers also turned a double play in the 4th. And the rare 3-ball count from Nippert. 53 of his 78 pitches in this game tag him in strikes. And at the 78 pitch mark against the Yankees, it was 39-39 balls and strikes. This time it's 25 balls, 53 strikes.
Oh, it's more of what you would expect from Dustin.
Gets the ground ball towards Kinsler, plays that in-between hop. 2 down.
And making a pitch with his fastball when you need to do it. Don't want to walk McDonald for the start of the lineup. A lot of pitches in the 4th, but he got the big double play with the bases loaded. Michael turned it.
Well, there were 3 straight hard-to-hit balls, right, to Michael Young. Wells, Barajas, and Bautista.
Yeah, one of them, you know, the first one that got by Michael wasn't really a hard hit ball. It just took a very tricky hop. One of those balls that has spin on it. You don't know whether to come in, go back, exactly how to play it. And it just took a hop that Michael couldn't gauge, and it went by him. Then the other one was just a smash. Did a great job to knock that down. Then the other one was kind of in between. It was well hit, not quite as hard as the one he knocked down, a little harder than the one that got by him, but it still took a tricky hop. He was able to gather that one in and turn a double play. It was really 3 balls that were unusual in that none of them were the kind of plays that were easy to handle.
They're still yelling at Marco Scutaro. He takes the strike.
Not sure what Scutaro's contract status is, but after this year, whatever it is, it's going to get a lot better.
Having a great year.
Yeah, he is.
Another high pop-up for Andrews to handle. He's got it. And Dustin Nippert, who could not get out of the 4th inning last start, is through 5 innings so far today. First of a doubleheader. 3-1 Rangers. The Rangers and Mariners recognize the heritage of their Hispanic players with a pregame ceremony Saturday, September 12th. And the first 20,000 fans receive a poster. The night before that, it's the Mariners and Rangers, and it's fireworks night. And sponsored by 105.3 The Fan. Enter fireworks as a coupon code at TexasRangers.com. Rangers and Blue Jays playing a doubleheader tonight. Game 1. Rangers 3 and Toronto 1. Ian Kinsler's been a part of that with a home run, his 29th of the year. And a chance to talk some pitching this inning. We might as well bring in Steve Busby to do that, his favorite topic. And it's interesting, Buzz, with the way this game started. Ian Kinsler hammered that one against Zipchinski.
Yeah.
And it looked like, all right, maybe the shine is off the star for this guy. But now he's going to give up a base hit here to Ian. But, boy, for the most part, this guy's been tough to solve.
Well, yes, Josh, it's been a matter of him changing speeds and locating his pitches very well. You have to be impressed with the command he has of 3 different pitches and to both sides of the plate. And anytime you're able to do that with 3 different speeds and also movements, you're going to give most hitters a problem.
Yeah, we're talking, Buzz, that when you see a young kid come up to the minor leagues with only a couple of hundred innings of minor league experience and more strikeouts than innings pitched, you assume he's going to be a 95-mile-an-hour guy. But this is a great example that you don't have to light up the radar gun to be an effective pitcher.
Now, and don't take any of this wrong, anybody. Being left-handed doesn't hurt either. There's something about that just, it really adds on to whatever you possess, whatever your natural stuff is.
Yeah, you don't seem to talk as much about soft tossing right-handers or finesse right-handers like you do left-handers.
Nope,
for whatever reason. Now, why is that?
I think
before someone asks me and I say I don't know, I thought I'd ask you.
I'm not really sure either. All I can think of is I haven't seen a true left-hander that was able to throw a baseball straight to save his life.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is. I have no clue. But when you have natural movement and you get command of the baseball, command of home plate with the baseball pretty good, well, you've got a big advantage. That's something that most guys just can't do.
Right. And then velocity doesn't become as big a deal.
Right.
But you never hear, typical soft tossing righty.
No. Well, honestly, from what I understand, Josh, and I'm certainly not a scout, but most scouts judge right-handers more so on velocity than they do left-handers. The higher they go, it's, for example, in college, the gun tells all for right-handers. If you don't throw 91, 92, they don't give you a second look. Left-handers have a whole different set of parameters in which they work.
So if you've got a 2-year-old kid, teach him to throw left-handed.
Either that or 102.
Yeah, and there's probably been a lot of right-handed college pitchers slip through the cracks for that very reason.
Michael Young will take up and outside. Doesn't have a hit yet tonight, but on base here for Josh Hamilton. The Rangers now, this would be a great time to just go ahead and blow it open, right? I mean, you've worked to reclaim the lead. And it was right around this time yesterday they really started hitting. We had the 7-run bottom of the 5th to talk about with Mark McLemore yesterday.
Yeah. Well, Matt, I told you guys when I came in, I'm not going to try to match Mac. I'm on a pitch count. It's strictly a pitch count. I'm out of here after 20 pitches, and that's it.
We couldn't get rid of Mac yesterday. It was great.
Hey, you get those guys that swing the bats for a living. They want to sit around and watch that. It makes me cringe.
Well, Hamilton yesterday all but embedded one in that 5th inning against the starting pitcher, Brett Cecil. I mean, he had a rope.
He had about 3 of those last night. Josh has picked it up pretty good. And, boy, right here, and I know you guys have talked about the lack of home runs, and I don't think it bothers anybody any more than it does Josh. He's worried about that, and it'll come. He keeps hitting the ball hard like that.
Uh-oh.
Oops.
Yeah, Kinsler caught leaning. And that's just very simply unfortunate. You had 2 on, nobody out. Now it's simply a runner at first and 1 out.
One thing you can't say about this game is that it's been crisply played by either side.
Not a lot of rhythm to it either.
No.
That's officially a caught stealing, and wow, that's too bad because Ian had never been caught stealing third. That's a stat that I'm sure he had a lot of pride about. And it's not like he got caught at third base. He just got caught napping right there off a second.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether he was thinking about stealing third base. The way he was coming off second base is why they ruled that he was going towards second. It wasn't a pickoff.
I mean, that is how you've got to score it. But, boy, that's a hard way to end that career-long streak for Ian. And obviously very unfortunate that, again, with 2 on and nobody out, the Rangers don't hustle those runs around and in. Wave and a miss, and down goes Josh. We getting close to your pitch count, Buzz? Or?
Yeah. Maybe if I get a quick out here, I can get out of your way.
Well, we're happy to have you as always. How about Dustin Nippert? Well, what are your thoughts about him?
Boy, compared to the last time out against the Yankees, he's an entirely different pitcher. The command obviously is the big thing, but he's also had confidence to throw that big breaking ball. I don't think I saw him throw it more than one time, maybe twice against the Yankees. Being behind in the count as much as he was, he really couldn't. But today, much better.
Bird, a shattered bat. Scudero's got the baseball. And our time with Steve Busby is done.
There you go. That quick out.
McLemore 7, Busby nothing. Great. Thank you, Buzz.
Okay, guys.
I mean, good to see you. 3-1, our score in the first game of 2 at the ballpark today. Texas Ranger Baseball brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on. And by Corona, official sponsor of the timeout. Dustin Nippert was chased away at Yankee Stadium after 3 2/3 last time out, but here he is in the 6th against Toronto. The team that scored 18 runs last night, and so far they've got 1 in this one. 6th inning, and a tough part of the order. Hill, Lind, and Overbank. The doubleheader between the Rangers and the Blue Jays. Kind of an infrequent happenstance. The 6th ever between these two teams. On the ground solidly to short, Elvis Andrus. No sweat.
A lot of off-speed pitches to Hill. A couple of curveballs, and then he got him with a changeup. He'll hit it crisply, but right straight at Elvis on the ground.
Now the 8 RBI guy from yesterday, Adam Lind. The Blue Jays 23 games back in the AL East. And for a while they were hanging in the race. About the middle of June, things were still going okay for them, but obviously things have gotten away. The Yankees lead by 6.5 over Boston in the AL East. High drive, right field. Cruz is back, turns, and it is gone. Boy, Adam Lind, 2 homers yesterday. Now he's got one this afternoon, and it's 3-2.
Well, he threw a fastball for strike 1, and Lind took it, but he was ready for that fastball.
That's going to be what used to be the hallmark of an elite season. I mean, this guy's going to have a 300 batting average probably in the 30/100.
Not a bad pitch. It's up, in. But we saw him last night hit a pitch out, almost the same part of the ballpark, a little bit more towards center field on a pitch that was 6 inches inside. And one thing he can do is he can handle the pitch in, and he can use his hands in a way that he keeps the ball fair instead of hooking that inside pitch foul. One of the reasons he's got that many home runs.
Now Kinsler's hit number 29 today for the Rangers. Now Lind number 28 is Neftali Feliz. We'll get ready for the Rangers. Feliz got up briefly yesterday. Never did get in the game. Remember, Derek Holland lasted only 3 innings yesterday. Then the Rangers went with Mathis for 3, Darren O'Day. That ball clubbed foul. That 55 pitch, top of the 9th. It was one of the tougher innings to watch. Got him.
Good changeup.
Well, as Steve Busby talked about, he's got a bunch of different bullets that he's spraying around here. Different ways to get out the Blue Jays, and he's using them. Vernon Wells comes up. We go to Emily Jones.
Well, guys, a double dose of Twitter talk on this Tuesday doubleheader. A lot of people talking about the missed opportunities in this game for the Rangers, but of course, the bottom line, they are still on top. Hopefully, it will stay that way. Don't forget, you can send us your tweets at twitter.com/FS Southwest. Also, check us out on Facebook. That's Fox Sports Southwest, of course, on Facebook.com. You can see some of the latest video from the Rangers road trip that you guys just came back from.
Yeah, they with John Radigan and company did a great job collecting a bunch of cool stories on that 10-day road trip. Next Ranger road trip is Baltimore and Cleveland. Then the Rangers come home for, believe it or not, the second to last homestand of the year. Seattle, Oakland, and the Angels beginning on September 11th. And the final homestand really isn't much of a homestand. It's 3 games against the Tampa Bay Rays. In the air left field. At the warning track, Marlon Byrd has got it. And the Rangers still have the lead on Toronto in game 1. 3-2. jackpot worth $900 plus tickets to a Ranger game and dinner for two at Sonic. Good luck to Gabriel Solano of Dallas. If a Ranger hits the grand slam this inning, we're giving away $25,000. Well, how are we looking, Tom Grieve? 3-2 ball game here in game one.
Well, you like the way the Rangers are looking right now. They've had some opportunities to have more than 3 runs. But Dustin Nippert's done a nice job through 6. 2 runs, 5 hits. On the day, he's walked 1 and struck out 4. So you have to like the effort from Dustin Nippert. And now you'd like to see the Rangers add a run or 2 and then have the bullpen come in and do what they've done all season long.
Cruz fouls one right off of Rob Barajas, who is shaken up. The perils of being a catcher. And the guy on deck doesn't want to hear about it. Pudge Rodriguez has been beaten up more than anybody else. He's got the most games in Major League history. Passing the other Pudge earlier this year, and he did it here when he was a Houston Astro. Carlton Fisk is now second all time. What were the odds of that? The top 2 catchers both being nicknamed Pudge.
Since there's not many people nicknamed Pudge, I say they were astronomical.
Boy, another strikeout for Zipchinski.
He's made the Rangers take some bad swings today.
Is that 8 strikeouts?
Yeah, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. Been kind of baffling at times in this game. And Nelly was swinging a pitch out of the strike zone. I think a lot of times the hitters are walking back to the dugout shaking their heads.
I guess catcher is probably the only position where you'd even expect a nickname of Pudge. You wouldn't really think of a fleet center fielder or a pitcher.
No, probably not.
Heads of state you really wouldn't figure would be nicknamed Pudge. Presidents.
There's been a few that should have been nicknamed Pudge. Pudge Khrushchev comes to mind.
Yeah, any ministers of defense or heads of state, popes, things like you just, I mean, it's not going to happen, but the signs are out for Pudge. They always are. People take the time to make a sign. I'll be honest with you, it's been a down year for signs this year. I think the crest of that wave was a couple of years ago. Pudge has helped to bring him back, I think, a little bit. A couple for him down that first base line. Neon poster board usually helps. It'll be found a little easier with the neon poster board. Got it done.
Pudge struck out the first time, but he has it figured out now. Ripped a double off the wall, now a hard hit single up the middle. As the DH too. Pudge had not done much DHing before getting these opportunities with the Rangers. First couple of times he said it was hard to get used to it. Felt like he was pinch hitting every time he went up there, but doesn't seem to be bothering him right now. Maybe he's figuring out how to get into a little bit of a routine as a designated hitter.
Do players notice signs when it said Tom Grieve, we love tag, or anything like that? I mean, do you notice that?
I think it depends where they are. I don't think you spend your time out on the field looking into the stands for signs. But at the same time, you know, if there's one in the outfield and you're jogging back to your position and you happen to glance that way, yeah, you'll notice it. I think there's times where players notice that and maybe give a little tip of the hat to somebody, provided it's a positive sign. I think there's some times where if you're on the road, the signs aren't quite as positive. So I'd say they don't go out of their way to look for them or find them, but I think they notice them frequently.
It has become a cottage industry at Fenway Park. You know, in between innings, it's like half the crowd stands up holding some sort of sign.
Yeah. I think the fans like to have the signs, like to hold them up, try to get on our television broadcast, for instance.
Well, that was certainly the case in Minnesota, right? I mean, that's all the signs are about. Hey, Bert.
Yeah. Circle me.
Circle me, Bert Blyleven. See, that's a good use of the telestrator, is just circling fans.
Yeah. Yeah. That's about one of the best ones I've come up with for it anyway.
But you can't steal Bert's bit, right? I mean,
no, I can't do that. Could not do that. Just wouldn't be original. I like it, but I think it's something that the fans enjoy, but that's his deal.
What about a triangle?
A little variation on it. No.
Put a rhombus around me, Tom. Doubting highly that'll catch on, but
no.
2-2 to Taylor. And the kids have fun making the signs a lot too. Give a kid a magic marker and a poster board and come up with something creative. Taylor trying to check his swing. No, says Delphine Colon. Says he went.
Boy, it'd be interesting to go back and watch this game and see how many pitches out of the strike zone Zapchinski has induced the Rangers to swing at. He's got to be very deceptive. It must be tough to pick the ball up. And then he's around the plate, but not over the plate. The ball moves, varies his speed. And when you put it all together, you got a guy that's tough to hit.
Is there anything to a time of day, kind of late afternoon?
I don't know. That'd be interesting to ask the players that, but I would think it'd be a little tougher right now than beginning of a day game or once it gets dark at night. Got a little bit of a shadow situation.
Boy, Davis stays hot. Already a 2 RBI ball game for Chris.
Yeah, Chris is having a lot of good at bats. Got the 2 base hits on the ground and then the long fly ball to the warning track in center field. With 3 good at bats, 3 balls hit solidly on a day when there's a lefty on the mound who struck out 9 in 6 innings. So that is a good job by Chris.
Well, Davis delivered a big 2-out hit in the 4th. Let's see if Elvis Andrus can now do the same thing with Davis aboard.
Yeah, that base hit in the 4th inning was a huge hit. 2nd and 3rd. Did not want to waste that opportunity.
Zapchinski with a career high 9 strikeouts. Has not gotten Elvis Andrus yet. Brandon League in the Toronto bullpen. Cito Gaston in the dugout. A bunt single for Elvis back in the 3rd, also a ground out in the 4th. And a ground ball here. 4-6 fielder's choice to Rangers strand a couple. Leading though in the first of 2, 3-2. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T is your world delivered. (3-2) Texas in the first of 2. Game 2 will follow about half an hour upon the conclusion of this one. The Rangers trying to get a half a game back in the AL West and in the wild card chase. Here is Neftali Feliz, and the numbers have just been sick. Got 1 walk and 22 strikeouts in the big leagues so far. I've been in 10 games. And you need a microscope to find that ERA, 0.51.
Now, one thing that's been kind of fun with Neftali is to see exactly what he's going to be featuring.
Right.
The other day he came into Minnesota and struck out Kadire at a big part in the game with sweeping breaking balls. We've seen him come in at 100 miles an hour and strike out Big Poppy. Well, we'll see what he's featuring today.
15 1/3 straight scoreless innings since allowing that Adam Kennedy home run at Oakland on August 5th. Took him 41 batters into his big league career before he walked somebody. A big league debut in Oakland. First 4 outs he got in the big leagues, all on strikeouts. Only Ranger ever to do that. The initial impressions of Neftali Feliz, who was all about the heat. Everybody was oohing and eyeing like you would at a fireworks show. 100 miles an hour, 101 miles an hour. But as you said, Tag, we've seen more than just the straight on heat. And the breaking ball fouled. .95 that time, and chipped away foul by Barajas. Young, Kinsler, and Hamilton, the top third of that Ranger batting order. Pegged, foul. Barajas, Bautista, and Snyder for Toronto here in the 7th. And a solid afternoon for Dustin Nippert, huh? A little bounce back after what happened in New York.
Yeah, Dustin was terrific. 6 solid innings with a good assortment of pitches, good command of his fastball. He threw a lot of good curveballs and continues to develop and feature a really nice changeup too.
And Barajas becomes the 23rd strikeout victim of the Neftali Feliz career. We're going to Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Josh. Time for the progressive fan of the night. It has to be Bill and Joyce Watts. They drove in from Mount Pleasant last night, watched that thrilling 18-11 game, and then today back for the doubleheader. Here's your tote bag. Here's your hat. Longtime Ranger fan?
Thank you, Jim. Yes, Bill and Joyce from Mount Pleasant. We just love the Rangers, and we know they're going to win tonight.
Been watching how many years, Joyce?
16 years.
16 years. Way to go. Good to have you out at the ballpark. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Even got a little fan club here in front of them.
Look, see that breaking ball drop in from Neftali?
Bautista's getting out of the way.
Oh, locked him up right there. 0-2.
Yeah, when he first got called up, the curveball looked more like a hard slider. And now it looks more like a curveball. It's actually several miles an hour slower now than it was when he first got called up.
Looked like walking the dog with a yo-yo right there.
That's good. That's a good curveball.
Two more logs thrown on the fire here. A couple of strikeouts for Feliz. 1 walk and 24 punch-outs now in 18 big league innings. 5 hits. Bang, fastball, strike 1. Christie, ranked 2. 12 pitches, 11 of them have been strikes.
Pretty good location with him, too, down and away like that.
Feliz on the corner.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Coming in.
Summarizing here in game 1 of our doubleheader, Ian Kinsler led off with a home run. Chris Davis drove in 2 in the 4th inning, and Dustin Nippert very solid. Boy, the fans still buzzing about Neftali Feliz, though, as he struck out the side in the Toronto 7th.
Well, that's a pretty good assortment of curveballs and fastballs mixed in, a splitter for a changeup. That last pitch, he reached back for a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Now Brandon League takes over for Toronto and paints one on the corner. Getting into his 55th game, not quite the year here in 09 that he had in 08. The Rangers trying to find some wiggle room here. The lead has been chopped to 3-2 because of a home run from Adam Lind, the guy that had 8 runs batted in yesterday. On the corner again. I don't know about you, Tag, but because we haven't mentioned the name of the home plate umpire yet, he's probably doing a pretty good job. That's James Hoyt.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Haven't seen the hitters turning around, haven't seen the pitchers complaining. There must be a fair effort by the home plate umpire.
Haven't heard the partisan hometown announcers go, where was that?
I'd say that's a good point. We haven't even been showing the rectangle very much.
Is that like show me the money, show me the rectangle?
Show me the rectangle. Let's go to the rectangle. That'll prove for once and for all who's right and who's wrong. And there it is.
There's
that was a strike.
Yeah.
So there.
We might have to go rectangle on that one. Strike 3 called to Kinsler. Now the first out of the inning.
The league has a good fastball. Reaches the mid-90s.
On the corner.
Yeah, that did not look like a strike based on where the catcher caught it. But as you look at the rectangle, it caught the outside corner of the rectangle.
Rectangle never lies.
Nope. Not on purpose, anyway.
If it's correctly calibrated, the rectangle never lies.
That's what they tell us. I think you might get an argument on behalf of the umpires. I don't think the umpires really like the rectangle very much.
You think that the people that named it Pitch Tracker like that we keep calling it the rectangle?
Probably not.
Michael Young trying to keep that hit streak alive. It is stalled at 18. And again, for home games, it's 23 in a row for Mike.
I look at the pitch tracker. It's maybe not the final answer. It's a tool that you can use. It's easy to look at. We assume that it's right. I don't know if it's always right, but we assume that it is. I think umpires sometimes look at it differently, that it might not be as accurate as we give it credit for, but it's a tool and it's easy. It's a visual. I think it's easy for people watching the game to see what we're talking about.
Better to call the technology a tool than the umpires.
I would never do that.
And
Too much respect for the man in blue.
And it does provide,
or black, I guess they're wearing now.
It provides something for us all to talk about. Still 3-2 to Michael Young. Game 2 follows about a half an hour after this one's done. Brandon McCarthy against Brian Talley. Another walk for Michael Young. So while the hit streak idles, he's been on base a couple times, and Josh Hamilton walked to the plate.
The league's pitched 61 innings. He's struck out 63 batters, only walked 18.
Hamilton settles in, having been 0 for 3 so far in this one. Quick email to pass along to you, Tag. I think I like this one a lot. Someone wants to know, actually 2 different fans want to know, well, the first fan asked, did you have walk-up music? And the second one asks, what would your walk-up music be?
Oh, that's a good question. No, I never had walk-up music. I don't know that any of the players requested music back then. The one place where you would get some music would be in Chicago. Can't remember the lady's name that plays the...
Nancy Faust.
Nancy Faust. She would offer some music based on maybe the player's name or something about the player. But back then, the players didn't request their own music. Chuck Morgan supplies the music, and a lot of times the players request certain music. But I'd have to think. I've never given that one bit of thought, what kind of music I would request.
Can't Smile Without You, Barry Manilow. Would lull the pitcher into a false sense of security. Well, you saw the shot of Chuck Morgan. You know, Nolan Ryan used to take the mound to, at first it was Don't Go Breaking My Heart, Elton John and Kiki D. And later it was Baby's Got Her Blue Jeans, little Mel McDaniel. And Chuck can tell you all the players now have their own special requests that come up. I've seen the change homestand to homestand. Hamilton draws a walk. Marlon Byrd will be serenaded on his way up.
That's a great mask right there.
The eagle?
Yeah.
Or the chicken? Way over
I like all of them, but the eagle's great.
Marlins so far 0 for 3. And just to finish a thought on the music real quick, the first closer to have it, because that's become the big thing too. The closers take the mound to some sort of pumping music. Sparky Lyle, when he was with the Yankees in the late 70s, they'd drive him out there in that pinstripe Datsun. The music was Pomp and Circumstance.
I love that. That's great.
Wasn't exactly Guns N' Roses.
That is great.
Times have changed. We've gone from Pomp and Circumstance to whatever that is that Elvis walks up to. Does a cell phone fit under an eagle mask? That's what we're trying to figure out. Chop ball near third, off the glove of John McDonald, and the bases are loaded.
That shows how hard those tricky hops can be. McDonald's a terrific fielder with great hands, just like Michael, but you get a little spin on the ball, it takes that in-between hop. Even in the big leagues, that's not a simple play to make.
That's a great defensive player over there, too. They call him the Prime Minister of Defense, John McDonald. E5, and the third Toronto error of this game.
Another good chance for the Rangers to put some insurance on the board. And Nelly Cruz up there.
Nelson clobbered that home run yesterday, his 29th of the year. Two walks and an E5. And the Rangers are in business here in the 7th. Trying for that outside corner, but that's two good takes right there by Nelson Cruz. And how often have we this year just kind of been hoping that Nelson Cruz would start to take that pitch? And it's been happening over the last week or so. Up the middle it goes. 2 runs coming in. And still just 1 out.
Well, that's what you've been waiting for right there. That little insurance hit, big hit with men in scoring position, and Nelly delivered it right there. You get ahead 2-0, you limit the pitcher to his fastball, you look for it all the way. You become a much better hitter under those circumstances. Nelly didn't try to pull the ball, just went back through the middle with it, hit a rope for a couple of runs.
Now that error figures in. It's the 3rd time this year the Blue Jays have made 3 errors in a game. Now Pudge. Ground ball, second base. 4-6-3, double play. But the Rangers tack on a couple of runs thanks to Nelson Cruz, and at the end of 7 in game 1, Rangers 5, Toronto 2. Let's take you back to Neftali Feliz. And just doing what he wanted to do anytime he wanted to do it. In that 7th inning, he struck out the side.
I think that's the best curveball that he's thrown. And then he zipped in his best fastball right at the end for Snyder as well.
As quick of an inning as it was, he's rolled right back out there for the 8th. 13 pitches last inning, 12 for strikes. And now John McDonald to open the top of the 8th. The Rangers up 5-2. The Rangers, having lost 2 straight, trying to get back on the winning track tonight, and they can do it twice. Got the doubleheader. Single game tomorrow, 7:05. This would be the 73rd win for the Rangers if they can hang on, beat these Blue Jays.
They're throwing that curveball in at will for strikes.
Something about Feliz's demeanor that's really pleasing to you, too, if you're a Ranger fan. Just that confidence. Ooh, and he just missed with that curve. Got an email from Ranger fan Joe. Wants to know, he says, I know he's just a young rookie, but Joe says, I think Feliz is very intimidating when he's pitching. Then he saunters off the mound like, yeah, I'm bad. How much does intimidation and reputation help a pitcher? Joe wants to know.
I think it helps a lot. I think it's part of it. When you look at pitchers like Randy Johnson and Roger Clemens, there's definitely intimidation there. Nolan, I think it played a big part in it. Reputation, intimidation. I don't think reputation has reached with Neftali yet because he just hasn't pitched long enough. But I think eventually he could be that kind of guy.
Got the out right there. We go to Dana Larson.
Well, Josh and Tom, coming up, we're happy to give your lovely voices a little break with our unique edition of Rangers Live. It's a post/pregame show. We'll wrap up this game, get you ready for Game 2. Steve Busby will be here to provide the expert analysis, and we'll talk to our former pitcher about what Brandon McCarthy is going to be going through as he gets set to come off the 60-day disabled list and pitch for the first time in nearly 3 months. We'll also hear from BMAC and answer your Twitter questions. That's coming up right after this game and right before Game 2, guys.
Love it. Thank you very much, Dana. 4 up, 4 down so far for Feliz. Goes to 2-0 on Scudero, who's got a career high in walks by a bunch already this year. Also has the most runs scored of any shortstop in the majors. Took a cut. But again, only Adam Kennedy has ever really driven a ball meaningfully against Feliz in the big league so far. It's the only run allowed by Feliz. That home run by Adam Kennedy. Scudero sends one towards Hamilton and Cruz. It's going to be Hamilton making the catch. Five up, 5 down for Feliz. 16 out of 22 pitches now for strikes. I think 30 is a great uniform number for Feliz, and I say that is a one-time journalism student tag. When you write a story, a newspaper story, at the very end of it, you're supposed to write 30, meaning the end. That's it.
30 means the
30
end.
means that's all she wrote, and that's been about the case for Neftali Feliz. He comes in, and that's it. End of story. Like a one thing I've retained from journalism.
Is just a pretty amazing weapon to have. The way he's being used right now, pretty much every third day he throws 2 shutout innings. Just save him for a game where you've got a lead, you bring him in, takes care of the 6th, 7th, 7th, and 8th, whichever way you want to use him.
Whoa, that was The hardest fastball yet. And it was at the chin of Hill. We were just talking intimidation. I don't know if that was by design or not, but boy, that will back out Hill in a hurry.
Oh, wow. Boy, I'm glad he got out of the way of that one.
Struck him out.
30. Tough combination right there. Those last two pitches.
Dirty 30. 5-2. Bud Light presents Jack Ingram, country music recording artist, after the game Sunday, September 20th. Rangers and Angels play at noon. The concert right after the game. Admission free with your Rangers game ticket. That is going to be a busy day in Arlington, Texas. Cowboys at home, Rangers at home, Jack Ingram around. Sunday, September 20th. Rangers 5, Blue Jays 2. Opening game of the doubleheader, and a new pitcher to tell you about for Toronto, Brian Wolf.
That might be the best head of red hair I've ever seen on that thing. Wow.
Fire engine red.
Beautiful.
Ron Washington's team trying to bounce back from that 18-10 defeat yesterday. Brian Wolf, the third pitcher of the day, just up from AAA. The Rangers, of course, have expanded their roster, but so have the Toronto Blue Jays.
Josh, I've got my song now.
Your walk-up music?
Yep. Our audio man, Tim Record,
yeah,
we know him as Toast, came up with my song for me.
What you got?
I didn't know what the name of it was till he told me what he played it. What is Love?
Hadaway, that with that thing going?
Yeah, from Saturday Night Live. That's, if I ever go back and play Toast, that's what I'm going to use.
You'd have to walk to the plate with your head.
Make my head go sideways.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I see you doing that.
You can. It would be uncoordinated, I know that. It probably wouldn't be in beat to the music.
It would give people something to talk about for days.
I want to play an old timers game now just so they play that music.
Show people how it's done, Tag. It's like you have a neurological disorder.
He's got a little twitch.
Take Arden to right. We got to get you the shiny suit.
I always wondered how those guys make their head go like that. Oh boy.
Years of practice, probably. So if you ever play again, there's your walk-up music.
Okay, good. Now I just got to hope that no one steals it.
Right. Brian Wolf, his second stint with the Blue Jays this year. Boy, Davis having some kind of a day.
Yep, putting the bat on the ball.
Now here's an interesting one for you. I don't know if Ron Washington was planning or still is planning to have Hank Blaylock in the second game of the doubleheader. Maybe that was the plan, maybe not. I truly don't know. But let's say it was. Do you take Chris Davis the way he's swinging right now? I mean, do you hold him out in game 2?
You know, I think it depends. I think a lot of times a manager will tell the players before the game, you're playing the first game, you're playing the second game, you're playing both games. So, you know, I think sometimes before the doubleheader starts, the players have an idea of what they're going to do. Now, not always and not every player. But I think if a manager tells a player before the doubleheader that he'll play in the second game, I don't think it matters whether the other player goes 5 for 5 with 3 home runs. You honor your word to that player. Now, if you're just thinking about it, or maybe just discussed it with a coach,
nicely turned 4-6-3 double play.
Then that's probably a little different story. You might change your mind, but I don't think Ron would go back if he's told Hank he's playing the second game. No.
5-2 score. And the Rangers will head to the 9th with that lead. Frankie Francisco set to protect that lead. We roll out with Tom Greaves spasming. Texas Ranger Baseball brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on. By Progressive, for a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. And by the Ford F-150. It's not just a pickup truck, it's a Ford F-150. Nippert, Felice, and now Francisco. The Rangers trying to keep Toronto down to 2 runs on 5 hits after yesterday. The Blue Jays scored 18. The Rangers trying to get a little closer in those 2 pursuits, the wild card and the AL West. The Red Sox are in Tampa Bay. That game is underway with the Rays on top 1-0, second inning. And the numbers on Frankie Francisco. He's going to face Adam Lind to get things going. Probably the hottest Toronto hitter. In fact, definitely the hottest Toronto hitter. 13-game hitting streak.
Now, one thing I've liked from James Hoy, the home plate umpire, is that he has called that low strike pretty consistently.
Yes, sir. He did it again. Got a couple emails saying that looks like Doug Flutie back there calling balls and strikes. I see the resemblance. He is doing a nice job back there. Remember yesterday, the 9th inning, it was a 55-pitch mini-series. It just would not end. We'll see how nice and quickly Frankie Francisco can get out of it.
Boy, he's just missing 4 good pitches, 2 fastballs and 2 splitters. Those are 4 hard pitches to call for an umpire. They're so close. You've called 2 strikes and 2 balls, and the 2 balls, the two were strikes, and the other 2 were just slightly off the plate.
Down the right field line, the hottest Toronto hitter takes one off the wall.
Yeah, that guy can hit, boy. Takes 2 fastballs, just misses with 2 splitters, and then hits a curveball for a double. That's not a case of Frankie throwing bad pitches. That's just a case of Adam Lind having a great at bat. None of those pitches are great pitches to hit. And the curveball, the first time you've seen the curveball, had to be thinking he'd go back to his fastball after his 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Brings up Lyle Overbay. Rangers trying to get back to within 3.5 in the wild card. Check the Jack in the Box standings. Tampa Bay now tied with Boston 1-1 second inning. Two shutout innings for Neftali Feliz after Dustin Nippert went the first 6 today. Brandon McCarthy set to go get him in game 2. High fly ball, shallow left. Elvis Andrus galloping back. This is going to be the 4th fly ball he's caught today.
Good fastball right there from Frankie. Got the fastball in on him, jammed him. Didn't really get his hands extended. Couldn't. Got it right in on his fists.
Now Vernon Wells, who's taken an 0 for 3. A lot of first pitch strikes from Ranger pitching tonight. Another one, strike 2. Don't forget Rangers Live coming up right after this one is done. Game 2 to follow half an hour upon completion of this particular ball game. Got him.
Wow. Really good fastballs.
Well, less than 24 hours after Toronto scored 18 runs in this ballpark, Nippert, Feliz, and Francisco holding them down. 5-2 Ranger lead, one more out to get. Rangers started out with an Ian Kinsler home run, their very first at bat. And the runs got a little tougher to come by from there, but they hopefully have enough of them, leading 5-2. Ground ball, third base. Ball game! And not the 55-pitch ninth from yesterday. It was a 15-pitch ninth inning tonight. The Rangers take the opener. Felice and Francisco help out Dustin Nippert. The Rangers 5 and the Blue Jays 2. And again, that Ranger resiliency shining. After giving up